I'm black. Hi. Hi, everybody. Today we're talking about if you can't say it, you can't change it. So, I hope you guys got a chance to watch the Anthony Peterson and Robin DiAngelo video that I championed in my last video. But if not, it's okay. They'll still be there, and I'll put the links to them down below. All right, now I realized I was so busy trying to get people to say that they were racist so that we could move on. But I forgot that we have to do a step before that. First, we have to get people to say systematic racism exists. So many people have a hard time saying that black and brown people have a different experience with the same systems. Hell, sometimes I can't even get people to admit that they see color. I can't get them to say that I'm black. I am black, and you see that, unless you're blind. And then, hi, I'm black, and I'm a cis woman, and I waved. And I don't know why I was waving to blind people. Sorry about that. You probably get that a lot. Thanks for listening. Anyway, you have to be willing to admit that there are differences in the system in order to admit that there's a problem.
Race.
We made it up and assigned all different kinds of traits to it. And yes, we did make it up. We took characteristics of how our bodies evolved to sunlight and climate around the world and linked it to aggression, intelligence, sexual prowess. We do keep social systems in place that reinforce what we expect to see. First, we believe that multicultural neighborhoods are unsafe. And because of a history of segregation, racial biases, a lot of the times, Black, Indigenous, and people of color are poor. We cripple schools in poor neighborhoods to make them difficult to learn in. The kids might also need to find a job to bring in more money for the household, or babysit younger kids so that their parents can go to work. And those things can take away from study time. We tell people that you will succeed if you work hard. But many of these kids are working harder than most, and they are not seeing the things that we say are success in the U.S. More money and more power. It's just easier to get into college if you're from a good school, and that makes it easier to get a good job after college. Service jobs with long hours and no pay require no schooling. And poor people feel how hard they are working with their hands, their backs, their knees, and yet they're not succeeding. And we believe that people who aren't successful are going to try and get that money and power by illegal means. So we send the police to patrol their neighborhoods more often, which means that more people go to jail for things that if you were in a different neighborhood, you wouldn't even notice. And when people are arrested, they can't get out to wait for trial because they don't have the money for bail. So something that a wealthier person could get out of jail for in a day, someone who's poor will stay in jail for 6 months or longer, just waiting for their trial date, just waiting. They're innocent, according to our Constitution, until they're proven guilty, yet they're in jail. So then poor people see more and more people in jail, and you have to think jails can't be for bad people, because I know a lot of people in jail. But other people think there must be an inherent flaw in us, that so many of us are in jail because we're taught not to see or recognize those things that keep people there. It can make you angry because you know you're doing everything right. It can make you angry because sometimes it makes you feel like it's your fault. Sometimes That anger builds. You're angry and frustrated because you can't succeed, even though you know you're doing everything right. You have to be able to see someone's race in order to break the cycle. And before you say it's not about race, you just told us about poverty. It is. If it wasn't, a rich black person driving a nice car would never be pulled over just for driving a nice car. No Asian who's bad at math would be considered a failure. No Latinx person would be asked if they're illegal or for proof of citizenship if they're reporting a crime. And no American Indian would know more than one woman or girl who has been disappeared or raped or murdered with no expectation of justice. There are a lot of extra trials that people of color in the U.S. have to go through, and the least you could do is acknowledge them. The white women's suffrage movement would have never succeeded if people weren't allowed to say that they were women. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making you believe he didn't exist. Convincing us race doesn't matter, that you have to be colorblind, is the smartest thing that white supremacy ever did. Being colorblind has nothing to do with race. Not acknowledging that people of different races have different experiences is the easiest way to make sure nothing changes. Saying black isn't wrong. It's just acknowledging that I have a different experience.
I blame the dog people in my life for the next part.
You're not saying anything bad about a breed of dog if you acknowledge that it's a different breed of dog. There's different kinds of dogs out there. There's different races, just like dogs. No, I don't want the quote to be that I liken people of color to dogs. No, this is all humans. It's just different mammals to different mammals, okay? All right. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe.